Five. So while we're a little bit early, so I'm gonna see if I can see us on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook. That's interesting. Why isn't it? Oh, there it is. And here's my. It's 8:15, and once upon a time we would be hearing rain, and then this. The lightning would be striking. And then let's see if I can do this right. Ready? Oh, there's even thunder. There's even thunder. And now I'm gonna turn this off. This is a one-woman show of directives. Let's see if you can hear this, Magali. And then let's see if I can do this right. Oh my God! Ready? Oh, there's even thunder. Can you hear it? No?
No. Okay.
Can you hear it now?
I can hear something.
It's alone.
It's definitely alone because I can't hear it.
All right. Well, then I will cut and reset. And hello, Allison. Hello, Pete. Really here for some post-tour therapy. So I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Arusha. I do this Push, a Cure fan documentary thing. And I have a lovely guest from London today. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Magali. I'm French, but I've been living in London for 28 years or something. I'm a massive fan of The Cure since 1984, and also massive fan of the Twilight Sad. So the last two Cure shows with the Twilight Sad as a support band has just been a double whammy, and it's been an amazing experience, not to be missed uh, under any circumstances.
So
So
yeah,
there
well,
we go.
why don't we just start right there? Because you just said the last two Cure shows. Did you?
Tours, yeah.
Oh, tours. Okay, okay.
Towards, yeah, I
So
mean 2016 and this 222, well, 22, 23 thing. I just put that into like just the same bag, and as in it's the same tour for me, if you see what I mean, even if it's not in the
right,
same year.
right. So
So,
one of the things I was curious about was, were when
we're,
were were you a Twilight Sad fan? When did you become a Twilight Sad fan?
it's a story in two parts. Um, um, what happened is that I bought the LP back in 2012 because it was the sort of album of the month, I think, in one of the record store, and I was just in a sort of spending mood, like sometimes you are, and you're just, oh yeah, I'm going to try that. The Scottish, I like other bands like Mogwai, so I don't know. Um, so I bought the LP, really, really loved it. And for some bizarre reason, it's something that I just sort of put aside and then forgot about it. Um, I suppose as well, one of the reason is that the LP player is not mine. It's my um partner's. So mhm. So I don't know. So I guess he's got the priority on what's being played, and I just played a bit, and that was it really. And Yeah, and I don't know. I just sort of left it as that, which is really stupid in hindsight, because I really fell for that album. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. I suppose health-wise, I was not really in a good place either in 2012, 13. So combination of things. And then I think that was what, 2015. when Robert Smith did the where he basically took one of the Twilight Sad song, and so they released as a single with him singing, and I was just like, oh my God, yeah, of course I remember this band. They were absolutely awesome. What happened to them? And blah de blah de blah. And then I just sort of went back to them, and I was just, oh my God, how did I spend like sort of what 3 4 years with not listening more to them, and not even trying to buy more of their stuff, not researching. I don't know. It was kind of like, what was going on with me? It was kind of stupid. Um, but I just felt in love completely, like really like ugh, even harder. And there was a gig that year. So I think it's either 15 or 16. There was a gig in La Scala in London, and I had a ticket for that. And unfortunately, I couldn't go on that day because health-wise, meltdown. And I just remember being absolutely like gutted. And they did an in-store signing thing, I think just a week before, maybe the day before something. And again, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go, and it's yeah, didn't happen. So that was that. So my first full live Twilight Sad experience was actually during the 2016 tour of The Cure, and I went to Madison Square Garden in New York. I did the 3 nights,
Oh, you
and
did.
then yeah, it was completely mad because yeah, health wise, I was in a lot of pain, and then I got a little bit better. I think then my meds finally, they adjusted and stuff. So, um, I was like, oh, sod it. Well, I didn't say sod. I usually use the F word really, but it might be recorded, so I'm just being careful here.
Well,
I was like,
this
okay, well,
isn't. Remember, Magali,
this
this
is
isn't
it.
CNN. This is just my little.
This
you
is your
know,
little, so I can swear as much as
you
I
can
want. Okay, that's
swear as
cool.
much as you fucking
Oh
want.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's awesome. So I
Yeah.
said, fuck it. Let's go to New York. So booked some tickets to the Cure. So obviously Twilight Side Live was just nuclear. And I was supposed to go back, and obviously I noticed, as you do, that they were playing a show at the Barry Ballroom. So I was like, it's just a night after. So I managed to change my flight. They didn't ask for like, a crazy amount of money. It was the same price, same flight, just the day after. I booked myself in a much cheaper hotel, like sort of think plastic and almost cockroaches, but yeah. And I went to the show, and I could absolutely barely walk because I spent 5 days in New York, walking everywhere, doing as much as I can, thinking, I don't know what's going to happen with health wise, so I'm just going to enjoy New York as much as I can, and enjoy the Cure shows as much as I can. And I completely overdid it. Um, so I went to the upstairs platform at the Barrow Room, and it's funny because I remember seeing James, the singer's dad, and James' girlfriend, and some of the others, and I was just like, oh, shall I say hello? Shall I not say hello? And I don't know. And in the end, I was just like, yeah, no, they're together. They just don't want like some crazy fan that's just gonna be. "Okay." And so yeah, and that was it. Really, that was the start. And the band live was just giving so much energy, and I felt really like that's the same emotional connection that I've had with the Cure. I think every Cure fan, when they talk about the Cure, they always talk about the music, obviously, maybe the look, maybe whatever. But they always say, "Oh, thanks to Robert Smith and the Cure, I felt like I had a friend. I felt less lonely." I think that's quite a common. Sorry, I had a dog on me, and now she just shedded a kilo of hair, and she's gone. So yeah, if my nose is twitching, I'm not on coke. I've just basically got dog
Hey,
hair everywhere.
like this is a judgment-free zone. You can do whatever you want. You can snort whippets. You can do coke. You can
Yeah, no, no, no,
whatever.
just dog hair, I'm afraid. Yeah, change of lifestyle here. So what was I saying? Yeah, the Twilight Sad. Yeah, so the Cure, I think that's, that's what people also really connect with the Cure. And I think that's why you've got fans who've been following the Cure since, the early 80s. They just stick to one band and yeah, okay, they're going to listen to other things, but they're still really loyal to the Cure. And because they connect with the music, they connect with the lyrics, they connect with Robert Smith, who's like a godlike person. I don't know. And I think, um, yeah, I don't think there's, for example, I really remember like liking Placebo and the energy of the first two albums. First one being really like angry and angsty, and the second one being so like deep, beautiful, like taking all your dark emotions, and I really, really like that. And then it went, ew. And that was that. So yes, I've connected with other bands, but not as long as The Cure and the Twilight Sad. I don't know. I don't see myself not liking the Twilight Sad ever again. And so since that, I've been to every single gig I've been able to. I've traveled to Scotland to see them, and I've met an awesome community. Um, through the Twilight Sad. And funny enough, most of the Cure fans that I am now friends with and I've been traveling with and I've been meeting up with, they're Cure fans that I've met through the Twilight Sad. Um, my experience being that um, I always went with, one or couple of friends to Cure gigs or on my own. And I never really, I don't know, I've had quite a few bad experiences with meeting people who, well, you thought they were friends and they're just like complete arseholes, basically. There's a few of them, and I seem to attract them. So, yeah, kind of
No,
always
no, no,
stayed
no, no,
away
no.
from like pure fans. Yeah.
They're just
No,
people.
I found the good ones now. I found the good ones. So it took me a while. But I found the good ones. But yeah, the good ones I found basically was initially through the Twilight Sad, which is quite amazing. And obviously now, knowing the good Cure fans, the nice ones, then I've met, more and more people. I've been introduced to more and more people. And it's like every time it's like, oh my God, yeah, you're amazing. Where were you for the last 25, 30 years,
Right,
Um,
right. I
so
wanna,
yeah,
I wanna say hello to some peeps out there. So Allison,
yeah.
Peter. This is gonna be like Romper Room. Did anyone see? I'm so old. Is anyone old enough to remember Romper Room? Anyway, uh, Peter, Sophie,
American thing.
Bonnie, Dom, Jeremy. Uh, are you ready? Jeremy Hayward says, "Are you ready to reflect?" Because you can't say, "Are you ready for a gig?"
I would be ready for a gig. I would. I'd love a gig right now.
Bonnie, Hugh, Silverbox, Johan, Jody Ann, JoJo, JC, and Clark. Yeah, these are all the people in the chat, and who knows who else is watching. Jeremy said something interesting because for those that don't know who Jeremy is, he works for The Cure. He said the Twilight boys are fantastic people. It really made a difference seeing them every day. Funny, sensitive, and generally nice people to be around. And
Yeah.
so,
Can I just say a personal message to Jeremy? He's actually given me a couple of set lists at Madison Square Garden, one for me and one for my friends. I did call him by his name because I knew who he was, but obviously he doesn't know who I am. So I just want to say thank you for giving me those set lists, Jeremy. It's yeah, super cool of you. Thank you.
oh, that's so ironic because that's what this set list is. And so, it's a thank you
Oh,
to
that
the,
was
yeah,
yeah.
Jeremy, because so that the good side I've been talking a lot about social media because this year's been very hard for me. I've been bullied a lot and blah blah blah, and I want to focus on that. But what it is just social media, right? So you have two sides of
Yeah.
a coin. Like we are on social media right now, we're talking
Mm,
yada yada, but but the what am I trying to say? So there's the online experience, which has been really cool. Like the crew has let us into their world as they travel. which
Yeah.
which has been really fun. It's just fun
Yes, it has.
because in some ways, like I think a lot of people think that they want Robert Smith to be like, hey, come and see this and that and whatever, but there's something really beautiful about leaving them on the stage, and having that space of them. They're the musicians, we're the band, and then but
Yeah.
when you're live, when you're in the music, that's where the bond is, and that's where I think the bond it remains the strongest. So I'm saying like 10 different things here, but I want to say, number one, thank you to the crew for
Yeah.
including us in the journey. Thank you to the Cure for
Right.
including us, in the journey too. The family members and whatnot that, like Susan Gabrels was so helpful on
Yeah. Yeah. And
social
she
media
helped also
crap.
she's helped a few people who had like ticket issues and as well, and yeah, and really putting a foot down on stuff, and also sharing little facts about, like the guitar picks that Reeves uses, and all sorts of things like that, which is really super interesting. I mean, I don't play any instrument. I'm not a gifted person on that front and many other fronts, but I just love reading about yeah, no, it's true.
No, you know
I
what
love
I'm.
reading about this.
I'll tell
It's
you
like,
what I'm laughing at in a second because you can't see the comments. So
oh no, I can't see the comments. I'm just seeing, no, no, I just, yeah, yeah. Who's that idiot over there? Just, no,
no, no, no,
I'm
no.
not.
This fan is being funny. Nico, who's
Is
traveled
that
all.
Nico with a K?
It's Nico
Okay.
Buysse. And Nico, remind me, you're from. I feel like you're from Holland, and I'm so bad at remembering where people are from. But I met Nico through the socials, and he was taking a caravan for some of the Cure shows in Europe, and it was amazing. And he had this Perry
Mm.
Belmonte fan club thing, and we were together in Levon for a second, where it was like pouring rain, and
Oh my
so,
God, leave
anyway,
van is just hell.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's joking, he's saying, I guess being an old bald man doesn't work to get a set list, and that is not true. I guarantee you that Jeremy
Right.
and the others give set lists to people of all ages, sizes, whatever's.
And
But
pics as well. Pics.
yeah,
I got that was, I think that was in, maybe in Yeovil actually. I saw there was Al, the tech guy with the long hair, so not a bald one. And I just waved and I was like, great job. And that was it. I was just still watching the crew so do their stuff, and I was
yeah,
not asking for anything. And he came up the few steps and he just gave me a pic. And I was like, oh, okay. Wow, thank you so much. I was not even asking for anything and I got a pic. So there you go.
right.
But yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, there's no, I mean, I suppose some people can be seen as sort of pestering the crew at times for like, can we have this? Can we have that? And can we have an amp? Can we have a free guitar? And it's like, hey, they are working, they are working after the show. They have to be fast and quick. And so, tomorrow is another town. And, but yeah, but they are, they are really cool, nice people. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed watching, the interactions on the socials. It was, yeah, it was good fun. Are you ready for a gig? Yeah, that was, yeah.
And the
And the
Twilight.
shout for brains and all that. I don't know, it's sort of, yeah. Oh, sorry,
Well,
you can see my dog's ears. Yeah, yeah, okay, right.
brains. So I mean, God, there's so much to talk about. I mean, by the end of the American here, there's by the end of the European shows, the thing Cheer for Brains was so fun because it got to build and build and build and build. I've never met the guy. I don't, I only know him through like his job on the stage and
One,
seeing
two, one, two.
a line tech, seeing his face turn red. And so but so it was so fun in Europe to be a part of this like growing
Yeah,
thing, but in
yeah.
America, I don't know
It
about
just
you.
didn't pick up. No,
No, by the
no.
end of it, I felt like a weird stalker lady being like, "Brains!" Like just the only one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think nobody sort of really picked up, but it's the same as well. They didn't pick up with the clapping that much on the forest, or or on Play for Today, or all the singing. Oh my God, no, I don't want to sing on live camera or whatever, but you know what I mean. You know, I mean, I don't know, and I don't know exactly where it started. My Some people say, oh, it started in France, after during the Orange tour, the tour that in '84, then they went in orange and blah blah blah, and you can hear it there. So I don't know if it's because I'm sort of conditioned, because my first Cure gigs were in France, so people were already doing that.
Yeah.
And I just sort of joined in, and I loved it, and it's just but when people sort of don't do it, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
um
so
hmm,
I want to ask you
yeah,
about your first gig, and I'm going to disappear for a second just because I'm getting my water. So
okay, go for
I'm
that.
still here, but I'm just going to
But
go
you're not
get.
here. Yeah,
But I'm here, but I'm not here.
that's fine. I'll talk to the wall. Um, First Cure gig was on the Kissing tour. Um, my first Cure gig could have been that Cure in Orange gig. It's still a very sore conversation with my family. Well, my mum is the only remaining parent. But basically, the story is that we're on holiday, maybe an hour and a half away from Orange, and I really wanted to go. I really, really, really wanted to go, and I just basically became a total pest that for the 3 or 4 weeks holidays. I want to go, I want to go, and no, no, no. I sort of tried to beg my parents to say, well, we can, stop on the way back to Paris. We can do this, we can do that, or we can just go for the gig and come down. You can even wait for me outside. I was like 12 at the time, I think. So I don't think that's so registered in my head that maybe they wouldn't even have let me in on my own. But anyway, I was just desperate. And yeah, it was kind of um, let's just put it this way. Back in 2016, I was on my way to the south of France on holiday, and I stopped in Orange for a little pilgrimage, took some pictures. So they've got a roof now. And anyway, and on the way back, my partner said to my mum, "Oh, we stopped. Yeah, the holidays were great. Blah 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 blah." And then he said, "Oh, and we stopped in Orange, and it was really really nice." And my mum was just like, the face just dropped, and she's like, "Orange, okay, yeah, we don't talk about Orange." She ruined our holidays for the war. And I was like, "Well, maybe I ruined the holidays, but it would have been easier to just drive me there, let me have my fun, and I would have just been the absolute, perfect daughter for the rest of, you know,
The rest of time, the rest of history. Silverbox
yeah, I
says,
don't know.
I remember when the movie came out, saw it at the Varsity Theater in
Mm.
Austin on the big screen. Must have been amazing to be there in person. Hugh reminds us that it was 86, not 84. I like this theme of the Cure in Orange because I brought up. I'm going to ask a question to you, Magali, and to everybody
Hmm.
watching, listening, whatevering. Um, why is the Cure in Orange so important?
So many reasons. I mean, um, well,
I'm
the
saying it
set list,
as a devil's
yeah,
advocate. Who cares?
yeah.
Why do we care? Why do we care?
We care because it's an amazing gig. The crowd, if you look at the crowd, I mean, it's insane. They are so into it. Obviously, the setting is magnificent. The sound quality is, obviously, you got Robert, with the wig. Um, I don't know. It's just it's iconic. For me, out of all the shows that have been on videotapes or DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever, for me it's iconic. It's also, maybe I've got this special connection because I could have been there and I went, I didn't go. Um, but there's something very special about that gig, and it's really hard to explain. But yeah, it's the set list, it's the crowd, it's the atmosphere. You can feel it, it's palpable.
Yeah.
And I remember when the tape came out, for some reason we had an old, I don't know, the VCR was a bit shite, and it played only in black and white. So until my parents got a new VCR. I replayed and replayed and replayed that gig in VCR. And it adds something, actually. I have to say, like watching everything in black and white is it's even more atmospheric. So I would recommend people who are very good in IT to sort of twitch a bit. Because yeah, the first time I actually did see it in color, I was like, "Oh, it's great, but I don't know." But yeah, still
Yeah, no,
fantastic, still iconic. Yeah,
yeah, no. I mean, again, I'm only playing devil's advocate because I like talking about music and talking about why we love the things we love. And for me, I can say,
yeah,
you know, I discovered The Cure in the early 80s, 82, 83, 84, and then I saw them on MTV around, you know, I think probably saw Let's Go to Bed, and In Between Days had me over the moon.
yeah, same. Yeah, yeah,
My first concert was 1986 in America when I was just a kid. So,
yeah,
but with The Cure in Orange at the time being here, it was, you know, The Cure for me were people from another planet. They were from outer space or England or this magical place that I had no access to. And The Cure in
yeah.
Orange only elevated that because of the venue, because of the cinematography,
Mm,
all the things that people are listing here. You know, Tim Pope's cinematography, a
mm,
fantastic venue, first concert film, best solo guitar.
yeah,
I love now looking back. This is what because I look at the audience so much. Everyone's wearing white, which I think is funny. Not only the band, but the people in the audience. If you look at the pit, like compared to like, oh, you know, it's The Cure,
it's
everybody's
a yeah.
goth. It was 1986, and there's all these like, or maybe it was because it was France, or maybe it was the fashion at the time. But there's a lot of just white polo shirts, which I think is hilarious.
I think I think if you remember, I don't know. Or maybe it was after. Okay, memory. I don't know. Might be just getting completely blurred. But there was definitely some pictures of the Cure when they had those little suits, like but not very fitted. So, but they had white t-shirts and they were all in grey, and Robert had his big trainers and stuff. So I'm just wondering if people wearing the white t-shirt were trying to emulate that look. Um, whereas now we just go black everywhere. I don't know. It's just a thought. I just have this mental image of the Cure, like the first time that they were playing um on French TV, and yeah, they had those suits. Kind of, I don't know how to call them because they're not work suits. They were like the sort of baggy trousers,
The
and they had the
ones
matching
from
vest.
Yeah, there was that
Yeah,
period during a night like this, which I really loved. So somebody
yeah,
says maybe a band making a feature length movie was a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal because it was shot on
big deal.
film.
Yeah,
And again, like we had little access to anything. Like I don't know if anybody's seen the Wham documentary that just came out, but it got me very nostalgic for the time period before social media, before you had access to everything,
mm,
because we were all watching the same things or listening to
yeah,
the same. We only had access to limited things, or we were reading Melody
mm,
Maker.
mm,
And again, in America, anything that was from England was like I literally like when the Cure when I found out the Cure were playing near where I was in 1986. I said to myself, I'm never going to be able to see them again because they hate America. Because I read it in like Star Hits
mm,
magazine or
mm, mm.
something, and I just thought they represented this being an other, being an outsider, being an individual because of the interviews on like Les Enfants du Rock, another French,
Yeah.
like this French English thing. And I felt like such an outsider. And I know a lot of people who listen to music, period. It's not just Cure fans, it's people who
Mm,
listen
mm,
to
mm.
music. Music gives you a voice and gives you a place. And so when I went into that Cure show in 1986, by the way, I did feel like I walked into somewhere else, and it was at the same place they played in Boston this year.
That you just, yeah.
It was the first time I'd ever seen men wearing sort of dresses and like all this like black and white like a look and like a very androgynous. I don't know if we say that word anymore, but I loved that I saw women who looked like
Mm.
men who looked like women. And then when Robert Smith took the stage and he didn't have any hair, I was so far away. I was like, "Who's that? Who's singing?" Because I couldn't. I was far away, but we jumped up and And anyway, it
Mm.
was just a portal, sort of into. I mean, this sounds dramatic, but it was like kind of like what my life would become because I was shown a world that I was like, "Oh, this world is accessible to me. Like I can find it." You know what I mean?
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so it's not none of this. Of course, The Cure in Orange is fantastic. I mean, people who haven't even seen The Cure live love it because of the theatrical significance of it. I just wanted to sort of bring that up because I love dissecting why we love what we love. So
Yeah.
going back to Twilight Sad, I'm going to bring up an outsider killing an Arab. Sherry Lawrence says, "Hi, Magali." Um,
Hey, Sherry. So a big shout out to Sherry actually, because obviously she's a typical Cure fan who loves the Twilight Sad, loves the Twilight Sad so much that she went to Scotland to see the gigs. And that's how we met, and we totally clicked. And if it was not for Sherry, I would not have been able to go to the three New York gig and the Philadelphia gig because she managed to get tickets for both of us for all shows. Whereas I'm still waiting on the to be a registered find somewhere in the ether land of Ticketmaster. So yeah, Sherry, I love you. Thank you.
yeah, I'm still on the wait list too. I'm a verified fan, but I'm waitlisted. And
Mm-mm.
thank you to all
Yeah.
the fans and all the people that helped far and wide that helped other people get tickets. I mean,
Yeah.
that is uh, I think I speak for many when we say we are all so grateful for any
Yeah.
help to get tickets on this tour because to be locked out of even being able to try, like to even
Yeah,
like
that just, yeah,
it was
so
such a
frustrating.
mind fuck. It was a mind
Yeah.
fuck. But I want to
I
get
mean,
back.
it's, yeah.
No, I want to get back to Twilight Sad for a second because when I didn't hear the Twilight Sad until the 2016 tour, which was interesting because I walked in and I thought, and I think I told that guy, what's his name, JC, who's their friend, but was like the the the
JP,
JP.
JP. Yeah.
I told him, and if and I think I may have even said it to James once. I said, honestly, when I first heard the name, I was like, what? Twilight Sad? Like, what kind of name is that? But but if I think about
Don't
the
say,
oh,
yeah,
it's
don't say that to Andy, the guitar player, because he hates the name. Absolutely hates the
oh,
name. So, yeah. So he'd be
but
like, yeah, let's start a petition, let's change the name. But yeah, it's tough love,
no,
man.
but that's the
It's
thing
bad.
is that then it starts to, like any art form, like sometimes anything you write, whether you pen it, you're a musician, you're a magician, you're a dancer, you're a lover, you're a toker, you're a midnight smoker. You might start and be like, I don't know what this is, and then it grows and it becomes an entity of itself.
Mm.
Same with, you could say, I mean, the name The Cure is not like the best band name. If you didn't know what they were, like I have to deal with my mom always saying like, I think you follow them because, of the word The Cure. And I'm like, no, dude, no, that's not why. So anyway, so when I first saw the Twilight Sad I went to New Orleans, 2016, and I was like, oh, well, they're pretty good. This is cool. And I went again and again, and then I just grew and grew, and
Yeah.
I grew to really love basically, I can't repeat this enough, the gratitude that James and the whole
Mm.
band and
They are amazing people.
exudes.
Yeah.
So we went in 2016 to see the Sad in Chicago. Like I did, they did some pre-gig before the
Yeah.
Cure show in Chicago, and that was really cool for me because I got to see Sad fans who aren't Cure fans going bananas.
Mental. Yeah.
mental, and I love it. I love it so much.
Mm.
And I also love, and I said this yesterday and I'm going to say it again, I love how much the Sad elevates their fans as far as like they're like, here's so and so from such and such, and I applaud that because there are people.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up some controversy. There are people who are like, why are they getting the bill again, right? Like, why
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Twice as well. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, like give somebody else room, which I get that sentiment, sure, you know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah. Yeah.
there's there's people that don't like them, and that's like I said, like so they're like at the bar, like I said, this is a safe space for different opinions. So, but whether or not you like the Twilight Sad, whether or not the music grabs you or not, whether or not you're into the fact that they open for the Cure or
Mm.
not, there's one thing you cannot deny, and that is their humbling display of gratitude every single night, of
Mm.
kindness, and
Yeah.
being a witness to that alone, to me, is a
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah. And also, I would also add that, you know, they the way they perform is they could be 10 people in the venue, 220,000. They just give all they have. They really do. It's, you don't have, I've never seen the Twilight Sad perform like, so, basically half-assed, like, oh, right, okay, just we have to do that, and then oh, yeah, let's go home and just yeah. No, they're really, they are so like, oh my God, this is awesome. It's like people are coming and they're paying to see us. Well, when that's their gig, or they've come early, and they're going to listen to us, and this is awesome. And yeah, and they do recognize people as well. And they have picked up, on their social, you can see, like, there's some people who came up with sign like, we love the Twilight Sad, and they took a picture of that and says thank you, it was so good. And they did thank people from the wrong car, so that's the Facebook group, fan group, and saying, thank you for making, trying to come up to the front sneakily, and sort of coming and supporting us. And it's been really nice to see some familiar faces at every gig, because it's never easy. They do appreciate it. They are so good with their fans. They really are. I mean, we're not sort of like, oh, we're mates and everything, but they're just so nice people, all of them. They are really amazing. So what you say about them being humble, and when you've got James like on in tears, and just like, thank you so much, people, for coming, thank you for reacting to our songs and our music. And he's not that's not an act. I mean, some people have been saying, oh, he dances like the guy from Joy Division and blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, fuck you. No, James is his own being. That's what he does. He's in his bubble. He's in his James bubble, and he's got this crazy moves. And yeah, sometimes like, oh, my back hurts. Well, James, not surprising. Do you see the moves you do? I'm a ballerina. I can't do that anymore. Okay, you're younger, but yeah, that's who they are. Grant is on the drums now, and he's not putting faces from anyone. that's
No,
that's his thing. It's just, you look at Johnny, and he's just like going crazy on his bass. And again, it's like, it's funny because you look at the face and he looks very cool, and and same with Andy, and same with Brandon on the drums doing their thing. They're really like, yeah, they want it. There's that sort of, we know we've got good music. We're just going to perform to the, and give our best, and they do. And that's that's also something that I love about them, is that you feel the energy. And I don't know. I mean, sometimes I connect yeah, attending a gig, a Twilight Sad gig is always an experience. I would say that, well, it's the same with the Cure. as I said, I've said before, I just connect on a very high emotional level. So it's like this there are songs from The Cure that just bring me back to certain period of time, to certain feelings, and I just keep on crying. Um, but it's like it's good tears, it's very cathartic. And it's not like it's like, oh, I hear this song, so I must cry because I've been, I always cry on that song. It's just, you just go with the flow. And with the sad, it's exactly the same. Sometimes I would be like in absolute tears. I mean, that first gig in New York, so my friend Sherry and I managed to sneak to the front.
Wait,
Um,
which first gig?
yeah.
The one this year?
Oh, sorry. So MSG in New York, so night one. So we went to the front and just, yeah, there's loads of shit things happening in my life at the moment, loads of things changing and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, no need to go into that. But basically, seeing the Twilight Sad and being there in New York, with my friend Sherry and other friends, I was like, fuck, I don't even know how I made it,
Yeah,
because I was in a stage where I could even fucking leave my bedroom, to be honest. So,
yeah,
so I made it to New York. I made it out of the hotel. I made it to the gig, and I saw the Twilight Sad, and all the tears went nuclear. And I kept on dancing, but I just cried the whole gig, and I was like, yeah, maybe tomorrow they might not want me at the front. I don't know. But,
they're like
that's
come
what
with you with
happens,
a box of Kleenex. They're like, okay, if you just kind of stand over
Oh
here. No,
God,
just
yeah.
kidding.
But bizarrely, the second night and the next night, I was absolutely fine. And it's someone else that had a bit of a tear, and and that's the other thing as well. It's like when we go to a Twilight Sad, and and some people so react the way that I reacted and become like really like emotional, or it's at the end of the gig and it's like there's always people that just sort of come and sort of hug you and and you may not know those people, but after you do know them and you're going for a drink with them, and then they're like mates for life. There's I think if you connect with a band like the Twilight Sad, and where you connect with the Cure, apart from By Them in Love and all that, if you're only a Cure fan for those songs, then you're not going to understand what I'm talking about. But generally speaking, if you like that sort of those lyrics and that sort of music, and the depth of it, you you would have experienced some kind of shit in your life at some point. Do you see what I mean? I don't think you can, whether it's like as a teenager you don't feel super happy or whatever, it doesn't mean that you have to be like in a psych ward or something to appreciate the Cure or the Twilight Sad. But I think there's definitely a depth that and I think that really connects people together. And I think people sort of you, you just click on that level, and you don't need to explain
Yeah.
anything. It's
No, I
like
think that
they know when you're crying, they know where you want to be in your zone, they know where you're reacting to certain songs. And I don't know, it's yeah, there's definitely that. And you're never going to be alone at Twilight Sad show, ever, ever.
or a Cure show, even though
or
it's a bigger
or a Cure
one,
show for that
and
matter.
there's gonna be because they have a bigger audience. There's gonna be people eating
Yeah.
popcorn and there who are just there to like party, but. I want to touch on two things that you said. I want to extract
Yeah.
two things. Number one, um, has to do with um, I mentioned this yesterday. The power of music to
Yeah.
to transcend you if you let it. I have a
Yeah.
friend who I saw the Seattle and Portland shows with, and they were a little bit put off by some of the American. Well, actually, no, they were put off in Hollywood because they had this terrible experience, probably because of whoever they were around. My friend said to me, his name's Jeff. He said, "I don't want to be around anybody who is not there to feel transcendence, to
Yeah.
fucking like fully commit." And that's him. Like
No.
there's other people that are there because they want to party and
Mm-mm-mm.
whatever, and that's fine. I mean, really, like Everybody has the right to be at any they can leave early. They
As
can,
long as they don't fucking talk. I'm
yeah.
sorry, but I've got a massive problem with people who talk non-stop for a song and then the song finishes and they've got the audacity to clap like they've actually listened and enjoyed the song. And I'm sorry, but I just want to taser them. I think taser would be a good thing. Um, I do know, I read something actually, it was a couple of days ago. Somebody was complaining about their experience at a placebo gig recently, and they were really ticked off because, placebo have this thing now where they say no mobile phones. We don't want to see mobile phones during the performance because it prevents us from connecting with the audience, which is quite ironic because they don't fucking say two words to the audience. But anyway, that's another issue. So we do agree with mobile phones or we don't. But what they do, and I think that could be applicable here for another matter, is that they had security guards showing. Sorry, that's my dogs in the background. There's a cat next door that's teasing them. So, yeah. So they were saying they had security. There were security guards who were showing like really bright light in the faces of people who suddenly had a mobile phone out, and I'm like, well, they could do that with people who are talking non-stop. I'm not talking about people who are like, there's a song that come up and they're like, oh, is that a new song? What's the title? Or, oh, I love this one. Or, yeah, I'm talking about the arseholes that talk about, crap that happened last weekend or what happened at work or what the fuck happened. I don't give a flying fucking monkey about it. Sorry, there's loads of F words here. But those people, the security should be really involved in in making the experience enjoyable for everyone. And it's like, right, okay, can you actually get some torches and flashlight those people and shame them? I mean, they probably wouldn't even realize there's a big fucking light in their faces because they're so busy talking. Sorry, I'm getting off here. I'm getting angry. My anger is starting to come out.
It's
Let's
all
calm
right.
down.
Like,
But
again,
yeah, no,
I mean,
it's
the reason
it's
why we
annoying.
love.
It's so disrespectful. I just I find that, okay, apart from that it's annoying that you can't, you can hear what Toby is doing rather than Robert Smith singing, that's fucking annoying. But I think the worst part is it's disrespectful. I've been to gigs where I'm not enjoying the support act, and I'm not going to start, talking to, well, I don't know who I would talk to because I'm well, I'm not going to say, hey, I hate this guy, and God is really
Sure,
annoying. God is
sure.
crap. And no, you just, is an artist, is been chosen by either the band or by the venue or whoever. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, the fact is, there's someone on stage. You shut the fuck up. End of story. If you want to talk about your weekend, there's a bar for that, or there's outside, or don't come to the gig. Basically, that's
Yeah,
anyway. I'm going.
totally.
I'm going to shut up on that subject because I'm going on. It's
Well,
like
I have a little
grumpy
excerpt.
old woman.
I want to, speaking of old women, I want to
Yeah,
read a little excerpt from this book that applies to what we're talking
I've read
about.
that. Yeah, it's really good.
Mickey, yeah, Mickey Bereni from Lush. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. How music saved me from success, and this is going to take a minute, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a little bit of reading time. So listen up. She says, I never intended to be in a band. I didn't grow up having music lessons or enjoy rouse singing songs on the piano. I didn't get taken to concerts or even listen to anything but background music with my family. As a kid, films, books, drawings, and gymnastics vied equally for my attention. It wasn't until I reached adolescence when I needed more than childish distractions and fantasy to provide solace and escape that I really got sucked in. Music gave me hope and a distraction, rhythm and noise that could change or enhance my mood, lyrics that provided reassurance that someone out there understood me or that there were other better ways to feel. The players, real people, not just fictional characters, embodied possibilities, alluring, confident women I dreamed of becoming, sensitive, artistic men I might one day love and be loved by, exciting and interesting performers who could end up becoming my friends, and if there's backstories were sad or tough, or they offered hope that I, too, might escape whatever crap I was stuck in. And this is another part that relates to what you're talking about now. When I started going to gigs, a reading from this book, Mickey Bereni, when I started going to gigs, I'd immerse myself into the crowd, roiling among sweaty bodies thrown around to the songs. Through the mosh pit, though the mosh pit would often become violent, I felt a numb to the blows and be surprised by the bruises that would emerge the following day, covering my arms in a polka dot of purple. It was the ultimate high. It was the ultimate high to be subsumed, a part of something bigger and enveloping. And if it was this wonderful to be the listener, the audience, imagine how amazing it might be to be the instigator, to have the gift and the power of creating that magic yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, Mickey Bereni of Lush. So it applies to what you're saying as far as like being immersed. Like, now we're not all going to be immersed every second of every day of every concert that we're ever at, because your body's sore, your mind is this, maybe like I'm going to announce to the world, everybody, Lullaby is my disengaged song. I like the song. I don't love it.
Friday, I'm in love. I'm guilty. That's, yeah, no.
But, I get why, like I've said before, I get why the new crowd meeting any age, they may only know Friday I'm in Love right now. It may take a concert or two, and that was what was so the good side of being around those people now who only know Friday I'm in Love is that The Cure plays so well. The Cure plays so well. Every single member of the band plays so well that they're going to go back into those records. They're going to go back and do what we did when we first discovered them because they're so fucking good live. Yeah. I mean, there's no... I double dog dare anybody out there, no matter what song, no matter what album, no matter what whatever, to find somebody who thought that there was Cure gig. They're so fucking good still.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the new songs, I wanted to ask you how you feel, what your relationship is with the new songs. I mean, for me, End Song is king.
Yeah. Totally. Funny enough, I really, okay, that's just gone blank.
You just went blank?
Old brain. A Fragile Thing I really liked. First time I heard it, I was like, the tenor, blah blah blah. Well, it doesn't go blah blah blah, but you know what I mean. It's quite charming, and yeah. As I said, not gifted for music. But I don't know if they've sort of slightly changed the version or they've added things to it, but I don't know. This time, when I say this time, so that the 4 gig I did on the US tour, as opposed to the European dates, I I really absolutely adored it. I thought it was very uplifting, but yet deep, if you see what I mean. But yeah, and song is just nuclear. Love it. Can't wait for the album, if ever, one day maybe. But it's funny because you say that they sound great, but it's I don't know if it's because there's always a few years of waiting in between, a new tour or a new gig or something. But I just think they just keep on getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, sorry, this the cat again and the dog
Oh, we
situation.
can't
I
hear.
hope
You
you
know,
can.
we can't.
Oh,
I.
you can't hear? Okay, so that's fine. I just pretended nothing's happening and we're good. Um, the Yeah, I think on this tour, what I think I've loved even more is Robert connecting with the audience, taking the time to sort of go up and down the stage at the beginning, looking at the fans. Um, Obviously now he's got a cordless mic, so he can do his little moves, and he does. He seems to be even more comfortable on stage and actually facing the fans and taking like flowers and dolls and through the security if the big stages there's a big gap, but he's I don't know, he seems to be really really enjoying that, whereas before he's always come as a sort of bit of a shy person. I do my thing and I just, and I don't know what to do with my arms, so I'm just going to dance a bit like that, and that's it. And the crowd likes it, so that's cool. And I mean, but now it's just like he dances all the time. Obviously, he still talks his own language, which is always still hard to decipher, but still very cute anyway. Just his voice is like an arrow straight to the heart every time he utters anything. But also, him, being emotional on stage and crying and not hiding and just be, fuck it, this is my song and those lyrics, I wrote them and today I'm feeling emotional about them and that's that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I really felt there was like such a strong connection, and I don't know. I find it very moving when the people that you have adored and maybe not I wouldn't say idolized, but they've been definitely part of my life for 30 odd years, and it's like, oh, they're not just musicians, they're humans, and they can show their vulnerability, and they can show that boys do cry.
Yeah.
um and yeah, I don't know, so some people have been commenting on socials, is Robert's been, very emotional because it's the last Cure tour, and for me, it's like, no, it's not that at all. People, you have it wrong. Let me just say no. I refuse. But I think I just felt more like he's actually more comfortable and really enjoying himself and just let himself go, and that's who he is, I guess, and that's what we're seeing, and he's sharing that with us, and that's my theory, and I hope that I will be right on this one, and there will be more gigs and there will be another tour, and who knows, but I don't think
Well,
this is a farewell tour. i don't
I
i don't
mean,
believe it.
the thing is
No.
that I mean, who the hell knows? The only people that know are the individuals on the stage. You know what I mean? So we can
Yeah,
speculate
exactly.
and we can do whatever. But
Yeah,
again, it's like bringing it back to for me as a fan, it's like bringing it back to yourself. Like, I'm different than what I was when I was 15, when I
mm,
was this age, when I was that age. And it is overwhelming to see, like, I was talking about this yesterday, plain song over the years. My friend was crying the other night, and I
mm,
was like, "Why are you crying?" Because I mean, look, I love plain song, but now these particular friends of mine and I have seen it 500 million times, and it just
yeah,
hit her. It hit her that one time that she may never see them again. But it was really more about her, like about
yeah,
she's got 4 kids, she's got a job, she's whatever. Like at some point
mm,
you
mm,
can't
mm,
you can't stay on the ride forever. But what a fucking
yeah,
ride it's been, and long may it
yeah,
continue. And also, I think as a fan, I think something that's beautiful is to grow with the
yeah,
band. So the nuances of, like you're talking about Robert seeming more comfortable. Well, they have Reeves, this American
mm,
dude, join the
yes,
band,
that
uh,
one, yes,
and maybe that changed things. I mean, certainly, like the dynamic between Simon and Reeves is such a joy to see. I mean,
yeah,
Simon's like always, has always been so active on stage to the point where people who don't know much about the band think he's the baby of the group because he's like a fucking triathlete. You know what I mean? He's like
Oh yeah,
running around and never makes a mistake. By
I
the
would
way,
like to have his knees. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. But it's like every time I just go, I see him like sort of bending on his, and I'm just like, my knee actually hurt just standing and and oh my God, those moves. I'd love to be able to see to do that. But then I
yeah.
would look a bit stupid because I wouldn't have the base to do that. But you know what I mean? It's like I move my knees and I go crack, 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 and you see this like older guy. It's just like a mighty ball of energy, and it's just non-stop moving and slashing the bass, and it's like wow, it's pure joy. Yeah,
I
I
actually
don't know.
I had this conversation with somebody, Nick Zinner from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. If you're watching, I know you're totally not, but I so I know Nick, and I actually want to get him to talk about The Cure on here. I doubt he will, but he started fanboying so much about them this year, and I was like, why now? Like, what? I mean, you've been a fan, and you're a musician, and
Yeah.
he is so obsessed with how good they are,
Mm,
all of them, every single member of the band, and
yeah.
I keep iterating that because the Cure to me is the Cure. It's the whole thing. It's the whole
The
band.
kids. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Robert's the singer and la la la. But I mean, it's like it's the whole thing. It's the Cure. It's
Mm,
it's it's the individuality of what they represent to me and all the little nuances that I see with every member of the band. But Nick was,
mm.
to hear a musician, a professional musician who's still, at their height of their career, fanboying out, going like, "Oh my God, this is the perfect band!" And what? Wait, you know what he asked me? Okay, let's see if the audience knows. Is Jason left-handed? Does anyone know? So Nick Zinner asked me this, and I've seen Jason play a bazillion gajillion times. I've met Jason, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if he's left-handed.
I wouldn't, to be honest with you, I wouldn't know what a left-handed drummer would be different to a right-handed drummer because they've got two sticks in the end, right? So, yeah, that's more me.
Yeah, no, I definitely get into the music part. It's just that Jason's kit is so. What he's talking about is he's got cymbals on both the left and the right. Are there any drummers on here? Is Jason a Japanimation character with that hair he has in Miami? Come on. Uh, uh, and Hugh keeps talking about Candy Crush songs. Hugh, I don't know what you're talking about. And I know, Hugh, you've seen a bad Cure show. Okay, whatever. That's not my point. I'm saying,
Right?
like, every band has a bad night. I'm saying in 2023, like, I'm sorry, I went to Cruel World and I saw a lot of bands play. Some bands I love, and I won't mention who, and they were not good. And I love them. I will always love those unnamed bands. But I was like, Jesus Christ, like, I mean,
Oh,
Nick, yeah, off. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, so fucking good all the time, forever and ever and ever. The Cure, so fucking good. And then somebody's talking about the album. I don't know, and I honestly, at this point, to me, they can do whatever they want. I'm just happy they're alive, and I'm happy that
yeah.
we're able to be witness and meet each other. I mean, Magali, like, I don't even know I don't even remember the first time we met, but I,
Um, no. You were with Carl, and I had a spare ticket for, was it it's either in 2016 or it's for the Hyde Park show.
ah,
One of those, something. Yeah. That's how we met. And we just, yeah, we stayed in touch and we just, yeah, that was it.
yeah.
So, yeah.
There's so many great comments coming in, but they're happening so fast. I hope that everybody else is enjoying the chat because I am. Um,
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I know you're not. You just get to like
No, no,
hear
no,
me.
no, it's fine. I was just very nervous. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna say something stupid. I'm gonna be a total plonker, or I
No.
don't know, whatever.
No.
So
Oh,
yeah.
actually, you know what we have to talk about before
Oh,
we cut off because it's been an hour and I did want to make it about an hour or less is
oh yeah, okay, right.
something that Magali and I have in common is that we are women who have traveled to see the cure and do
Yeah,
whatever with friends, but we've also traveled alone.
alone. Yeah.
And I just thought maybe, I can go on about it, but maybe do you have any thoughts, words of
Um,
encouragement as a
yeah.
woman specifically?
As a woman, yeah, I don't know. It's for me, going to a gig on my own has never been an issue because, um, well, when I was living in France at the time, I didn't know, well, none of my friends liked The Cure. So my first gig, well, my very first gig was The Cure. So, I went with, someone from my class, and her stepdad. She was not really into it, but it just turned out that the stepdad was really into The Cure, and I think he wanted to, be like the cool stepdad. He was new on the scene, so he took us, and I was just that was for me that was the revelation about what a gig was like and what it meant. It was like it sort of grabbed my heart, and that particular gig in Paris, that's when they played Faith, and I didn't have the album because I didn't have a lot of money growing up. So, it took me about a good four years to gather all the Cure albums. So I didn't have that particular one. And I heard Faith live and I just started crying my eyes out. And I didn't know why. And for me, Faith is every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so thankful there's a song like that. But anyway, um, so that was my first experience of The Cure. And then after that, I just went to gigs in France on my own. And then I moved to London in 94. Yeah, at the end of 94. I didn't know anyone and I just went to gigs. And then, yeah, I met a few people because, especially at the time, it was like Britpop. So you sort of saw the same people at the front all the time. And so for me, that was already sort of, yeah, that was already ingrained in me to go to a gig on my own and be okay with it. And yes, sometimes you've got hands touching your body, but I've got very sharp elbows, and I've just always kicked back basically, sort of, you know, and swear a lot, and not taking shit basically, um, because I don't know, I felt safe. You're in a crowd, and yes, there might be one arsehole that going to try to grab your arse or your tits or something, but it's like if you shout and start, you're like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Blah blah blah. Then people will react, and that person would go right. So yeah, there's been instances like this, but I've never felt unsafe. Um,
What?
and then
Well,
from then on, it was kind of like I just love the experience of a gig so much that
yeah.
I want that experience. And that's that. For me, that's something I must do for myself, for my mental health, for my pleasure, for I don't know. So it's never been, if I had the money and if I had the time, they would be like, yeah, okay, let's fine. I'm traveling. And yeah, it's a bit unnerving, but it's never been an issue. It's really never been an issue. I think it's like if you really want it so much and you know how much is going to bring you,
Yeah.
then it's like go for it.
Yep. That's just it. So
Yeah,
you know how
it,
much
go for it.
joy it's going to bring you. And it doesn't matter if it's a cure
Yeah,
gig, if it's stamp collecting, if it's whatever.
yeah,
It
any
doesn't
gig.
matter. Because I think, Magali,
It's
the
the
only.
same. Could be, yeah, it could be a football game for all I care. I mean, I'm not into football, but
Right. It doesn't
if
matter.
you're into something, if you're into something and you know it's going to bring you joy, don't sit at home.
No.
Just go and experience it.
Yeah, if
You
you
know,
can.
life's too
If you
short. Yeah, if you can, if you got the money, the time, the health, you never know what's around the corner for you. So just fucking go and go for it, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
also now, because of the social medias, it's very easy to send a message to, you know, for if we talk about the cure group or the Twilight Sad group, hey, I'm traveling, I'm on my own. Is it okay to meet someone? And you will have like loads of people saying, yeah, of course, yeah, just let's meet up, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a few years ago, there was an American girl who was stuck in Edinburgh after a Twilight Sad gig, and she got ill. And she was like, she basically wrote a message to the fan group saying, do we have, or you know, are there any people around that could bring me some food? I'm really, really ill. And she was like, yeah, straight away there was some people who just sort of came around and sort of helped her and sorted her out. And that's the good side of the social media. Obviously, don't put that on Twitter, and then you're gonna have all the weirdos coming to your door. But you know, like if you're in a group, in a safe group, and that's what, you know, this cure group is about, and that's why we've got the wrong car for the Twilight Sad and blah blah blah. So it is safe. And if you don't want to be on your own, you don't have to. And if you do want to be on your own, then you can totally be on your own as well. It's absolutely fine, you know? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
No,
would,
I think that I want to punctuate the other side of it, of just the act of traveling and also empowering. I mean, it's anybody, but for whatever reason, and some people online might be like, "Why are you talking about this?" But it's because I've actually gotten a lot of feedback from women saying, "Thank you
mm,
so much for what you do," because I was too afraid to go. I didn't want to go
to go, yeah,
alone. Also, there's a huge thing, especially if you're a mom, or like that you need
yeah,
to stay home
just
and you
yeah, yeah,
and stay small.
mm.
And
Yeah,
all I'm saying to anybody on the planet, but I really want to empower. You know, people are like,
yeah,
I don't want to go to a gig by yourself. First of all, try a gig by yourself because it can be really fun, right? It actually can be
yeah,
fun. It depends
yeah,
on a lot of things, depends on the crowd, and it could be kind of weird sometimes. But also just the act of traveling and staying by yourself, just try it. And like Magali is
mm,
saying, there's always Cure fans or Sad fans, or even like I know that in the Nick Cave community, it's the same. Like
yeah,
you can always
yeah.
find people. And then the good thing about traveling alone is if you get sick of those people, you can go back to your hotel. You can be like, later, I'm gonna go watch whatever and unwind, and
Netflix, yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna do
whatever.
nothing. But I just wanted to
Yeah.
embolden that spirit of doing what you love if you
Yeah.
can, and don't let
And I think
anybody
on the
stop you.
subject of, you know, I mean, I'm not a mom, but there are some women who like say, "Oh, but I'm a mom now. I can't go to a gig because you know they're sort of enclosed in a role." And it's like, doesn't matter if you're a mom. It doesn't matter if you're 75. It doesn't
Yep.
matter if you're 15. Well, you may not be allowed to go in without an adult, but you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's all about your experience and the joy that's going to come out of that experience. And, you know, sometimes, I mean, it has happened to me, you know, that I was like, oh, should I go to a gig or not? Not for Cure, Twilight Sad, but, you know, other bands be like, oh, I'm quite comfortable at home. Shall I go? I'm in pain. I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I'm going. And, you know, and you just get the enjoyment and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, that was amazing, you know, and just sometimes just watching the crowd and the enthusiasm
Mm-hmm.
and you know and it's fantastic and it's a unique experience and I think also that's why people say, oh, why do you need to see the Cure so many times? It's like, well, why do you watch a movie several times? You already know the end of the story. Or why do you repeat stuff? And
Go to
I
football
would say,
games, play fantasy
oh
football.
yeah,
Do I mean
yeah, no, I don't get
go
that.
to the
It's like it's
why do you go to the beach?
it's a unique experience, you know. It's every gig is you go to gig one, you go to gig two in Madison Square Garden and gig three, and it's three different experiences, you know, and because of the crowd, because of you, how you feel that day, because who you're with, blah blah blah, and it's just amazing. And yeah, it's just anyone really, but specifically women, don't be like put in a box because you're a mother. Well, let someone else look after the kids for 1 day or 2 days, and just go for it. And you don't have to, like, put, I don't know, you don't have to dress in a certain way because you're going to a cure gig. I mean, yes, it can be fun, it can be nice to wear, like, a bit more makeup than normal, feel a bit darker, but you don't have to, you can wear whatever the fuck you want. Just go to the gig and enjoy. Nobody is there to judge you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. Nobody's there to judge you. You're here for yourself, for enjoying it. And I don't know anyone who can go to a Cure gig and come out of it and be like, oh, that was shit, or I didn't enjoy it. Seriously, I would
Yeah,
taser
no,
those
totally.
big
Totally.
time. Yeah, they would deserve tasering, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
But
been a
there
lot.
we
You've
go.
gotten a lot of support on the tasering, which I'm not. I'm not. I don't think we
Yeah,
should taser. And I definitely somebody said pepper spray. No pepper spray. Pepper spray sucks. But I think it's time to wrap it up.
sure. Yeah.
I can see the sun setting on your side, and
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah, that's it. My little lights are coming out. Yeah.
yeah, somebody says Magali perfectly expressed. Oh, there it went away. I don't know. There's a lot of comments coming in,
Oh, cool.
which is great. But
Cool.
this has been so much fun. I've had so much fun talking to
Yeah, it
you.
has actually. I mean, yeah, I was super nervous of doing it, and I was just like, oh my God, what I'm gonna say, whatever. And yeah, no, I think the really, like you said, the important message is just, even, well, obviously, we are Cure fans, but any gig, just go. There's Enjoy it. There's no age, there's no whatever. Nobody's gonna judge you, and enjoy. Enjoy. It's Yeah,
Enjoy your
that's the main
life
thing.
while you can,
Enjoy.
because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and be
You
around
don't
good
know what's around the
people.
corner.
Be around good
Yeah,
people, and if somebody gets you down, you just keep going, and
exactly. Yeah.
you find the good people. And there's a lot of great people on
They are.
this
It
thread
took
right
me
now.
it took me years to find them, but I found the good Cure people, and yeah, I've had amazing support from them well, especially in New York. I mean, as I said, I was, yeah, going through a lot at the moment, and just, give you a hug, a little tap on the shoulder, a little, and it's just like, yeah, there are good people out there. There are fantastic people out there. So yeah, go to your Cure gig, leave the kids behind, leave everything behind, and go and enjoy the Cure
Doing
and the
the
Twilight Sad as
unstuck.
well if you want.
Let's get
Yeah,
happy
happy, exactly.
by listening to Faith.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so
Right.
much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank you
probably
for
do it
that.
again next weekend. I don't know with who, but maybe Nick Zinner will grace us with his presence. Probably not, but a girl can dream.
That'd be awesome.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Magali
Bye,
and
Risha.
everybody.